At the moment, us Hypixel Skyblock players live in an interesting age. With items like Stock of Stonks at 5.7 million coins and peaking at 10 million coins a couple of days ago, it doesn't take a genius to speculate that this ridiculous level of inflation inevitably carries over to some of the most sought after items in the game. If your goal 2 or 3 months ago was to obtain a Hyperion, at that time, I guess a Hyperion was just over 1 billion coins. Fast forward to today, you'd struggle to get a decent Terminator for the same price. So I guess this video is for those people who are trying to save coins or trying to make coins in order to actually get items that they need, and just don't know what to do, considering every time they look at the auction house, the item that they want has gone up in price by 20%. Now let me make this clear, the main contributing factor to this massive inflation is macros, and it's people macroing farming, because with the Garden 1.5 update, the sell price, the NPC, the value of the crops has increased. Therefore, not only for your regular farmer who might be underneath Skyblock level 100, for everyone. So people that are obviously not supposed to, but are able to macro, and it's, you know, people find it so easy to do, they can make a ton of coins. We've already talked about this video's not about that. So for skills like farming, and also like mining, essentially you're going to mine and you're going to farm. Now, your farming crops are going to stay around about the same price. Things like gemstones are also going to go up in value with inflation. Obviously the bazaar sell value is slightly more than the NPC, for the most part and for most of them. Now, Pete, you might ask someone, how do I make money at the moment? And people might say farming. And I would agree, at the start, when you're early game, probably farm. But if you think about it, when you're like getting later into the game, unless you're macroing, which you shouldn't do, because you should in theory get banned, it's not really a good idea. You've got to hear me out. If you have an amazing setup and it's fully maxed, then fair enough, you might be able to make a lot of coins. However, with inflation, you know, by the second, by the minute, by the hour, our coins are devaluing. If you have coins in your bank, they're losing value. There's no two ways about it. If you have items, that's not going to happen. So what I'm trying to say is that basically, as inflation gets worse, farming is going to get worse for money. The crops are going to stay the same value, and the money's going to become worthless, basically. Now, what I would say is maybe farm to get some coins, and then move on to something else. For example, if you dedicate time to one Slayer in order to get an RNG drop, if we take a look at Revenants, spawn a tier 5, the cost is always 100,000 coins. It always has been, and it always will be. For a tier 4 Sven, the same applies. The cost is 50,000 coins, it always has been, and it always will be. For a tier 4 Enderman, the same again. And also the same for Blaze. However, if we take a look on the auction house, for instance, the going price for a Warden Heart at the moment is around about 220 mil. So that's around about 80 to 90 mil to what it was always stable at, basically last month. So you're paying the same amount to start the Slayer, but in turn, you're getting more in reward. Like, say for instance, if you fill the meter for a Warden Heart, in theory, on average, you should get at least 3 shards, obviously the Warden Heart, and all the other drops. A shard of the Shredded is 14 mil, let's assume that you get 3. So that's 42 million coins alone. Say for instance you get a couple of Smite 7s and a couple of Scythe Blades and all your other drops. That's going to probably take you to close to 100 million coins, plus the Warden Heart, which in total is 320 mil. And that is less. That is more than what you actually pay to spawn the bosses. So as long as you have a little bit of time and persistence, you probably drop the Warden Heart sooner too. That's worst case scenario. Now I have the most experience in revs, but in terms of Sven and an Overflux, the same applies. Now I'm not sure if the Overflux capacitor has inflated as the Warden Heart. I think it is. Not quite, but it's still massively inflated, 150 million coins. This is way higher than it used to be. And honestly, the Judgment Core, I'm not sure if this is inflated or not. Someone will have to let me know. I'm not 100% sure. But I know definitely at the moment, not only is revs ridiculously good for money, considering you will pretty much, I mean, you're not guaranteed, but if you get no drops as the Warden Heart, it's very unlucky to do that, and it probably won't happen. But realistically, you are going to make profit, even if you fill the meter. Now, if you do this in Aatrox, number one, it may go even quicker, and if you have the slash prices ability, you make even more coins. So what I'm saying is, if you're going to choose something to get into in terms of money, I may not go for the traditional method of farming. Maybe go for farming until you actually get some coins if you don't already have like a start. But from there, you know, I feel like there's more efficient and sort of mindful ways to make coins. This brings me on to the next thing. But before we get into that, you should subscribe to the channel, become part of the 24%. Also, you should join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of every single video. If you have coins lying around, invest them. If you're not doing anything with the coins, Invest them. If you're saving up for something that you want to buy, don't sit on the coins, invest them. I'm in a bit of a cross between two minds, considering I need the coins for the G-Drag, and I also want to invest, so I don't really know what I'm doing with those coins, but just invest. Okay, so think about it. This rate of inflation is probably going to continue. Even if it doesn't, there's still going to be inflation constantly. At the moment, it's just more prevalent to invest. If you have, for instance, 1 billion coins in your bank, okay, that 1 billion coins in a month's time is going to be able to buy you less than it can today. That means in relative terms, you've lost money. Even though you haven't, that money has less value. If you take that 1 billion coins and invest it into something, or multiple things, whatever it is, as inflation continues, as time goes on, in a month's time, you'll be able to sell those items back for more than 1 billion coins because of inflation. So, in theory, at that point, you've made coins, but maybe you've actually just maintained coins. You've not lost. Think about it on a grand scheme, okay? Imagine at the start of Skyblock, you have 10 million coins. The second day of Skyblock, you have 10 million coins. You are by far the richest person on the server. You can buy anything that you want. Anything that you want is at your disposal. You have 10 million coins now, and people mining can make that in a space of 10 to 20 minutes, maybe even less. And of course, 10 million coins can't even buy you Necron boots. It can't even buy you one half. It can't even buy you one Necron boot. One of the two. So you might think, well, you might ask, Nitrals, well, you tell me to invest. What do I invest in? Summoning Eyes, constantly going up. They're almost 1 million coins each. I can't remember the last time they were 1 million coins each. Hot potato books are over 100k. They used to be 30k not too long ago. Booming potato books haven't increased as much. Still increasing. Titanic XP bottles. I mean, these are mainly inflated because of the Rift update. Still, they've actually dropped about 100k, and the Grand Experience bottles have dropped heavily too. Reconbobulators. These were always about 6 million coins. Right now is probably not a bad time to invest because, believe it or not, this is relatively cheap. I mean, yesterday they were over 13 mil. It's just insane. Perfect gemstones. Actually, surprisingly, this Perfect Jasper gemstones actually dropped almost 10 mil. I'm not saying invest in this, but there's a good chance it's probably going to go up. Even all the other Perfect gemstones, they're almost all over 10 mil. That's never, ever, ever the case. Take a look at scrolls, okay. You're going to struggle to buy any of them on the bazaar. You're going to really struggle. You put an order in, good luck getting it filled. Even the Master Stars, okay. Around about 1 week ago, whenever the last poll was, I dropped a 3rd Master Star, and I insta-sold it back to the bazaar for, I think it was 19 million. That was 2 weeks ago. Okay. Now if you put an order up, it's 35 mil. If you quick sell, it's 26. You're going to put an order up realistically. That's ridiculous. Like that's just a perfect example of inflation. My point is I don't really know what to tell you to invest in because everything seems to be increasing in price. Makes sense, inflation, right? Some things are increasing more than others, and it would be hard to predict what's going to happen because, you know, you would think reconbobulators would continue to rise in price, yet in the last day they've dropped over maybe nearly 2 million coins. At the same time, you take something like a Summoning Eye, which has just constantly been going up. Overall, what I'm trying to say is in the past you could pretty much sit on your coins, inflation wasn't too big of a deal, and you could still achieve what you want to achieve. But it's not really the case anymore. You need to adapt and you need to invest, otherwise you're going to lose coins even though it doesn't look like you are. Anyway, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you do leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.